welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET now. As I promised you, we have a very interesting discussion lined up. We are going to get a sneak peek into some of the richest families of India because IIFL Wealth and Hurun have come out with yet another very interesting research report. And Karanya is with me to talk to us about the highlights. And Karanya, I think looking at the sort of magnanimous wedding that Mukesh Ambani has thrown forth two of his children, it's not surprising that he's yet again the richest man in India.
Most certainly is. In fact, this is the rich list that we're talking about, and this is the richest man according to the report. His wealth is nearly 4 lakh crore, 3.80 to be precise. He is the richest man, and it is the richest family of our country with a net worth of this much, 3.8 lakh crore rupees. Let's move right on to some other names as well. Second spot is occupied by Godrej. 1.57 lakh crore is the overall wealth of this particular family, followed by Hinduja with 1.86 lakh crore. So these are the top 3 wealthiest families. There's Udaan as well on spot number 4 with 1.2 lakh crore rupees. Let's move right on. Okay. Mr. Davani is also a part of the list at number 5 as well. Let's talk about some other parameters, some other parameters on which they've also come out in the list. Next is new in the rich list. Okay, we will be talking about that. Niranjan Hiranandani is number 2 on that list with a total net worth of 27,800. Number 1 spot is of the serial entrepreneur Jay Chaudhary. His net worth is 36,700 crore rupees, followed by the likes of Mahendra Prasad with 11,900 crore. Sanjeev Bikhchandani also features on the list of new in the rich list. As far as the top 100 are concerned, these are some names which feature on that list. Let's also talk about the next one, young, rich and self-made. Who features on that? Okay, no surprise there again. Ritesh Agarwal, number 1 spot with a total wealth of 7,500 crore rupees. He is young, he is rich, and in fact he is the richest in the country. Next up is Ankit Bhati with 1,400 crore rupees, and also there is Sri Harsha Majeti with 1,400, so it's a tie between the two, followed by Divya Gokulnath of Think and Learn. She has about 1,800 crore rupees worth of wealth. These are the top 3 names which feature on the list of new, rich and self-made. Richest women in India. Now that will be exciting to watch. Roshni Nader occupies the top spot there with nearly 37,000 crore rupees to her kitty. There's Smita V. Krishna with 31,400 crore rupees. And last, number 3 spot is Kiran Nader, once again from the HCL family. She has of about 25,000 odd crore rupees to her kitty as well. Which sector had the most number of billionaires? That's something that we would also like to know. Number of individuals, 137 with Pharma. Next up is software and services, followed by FMCG, chemicals and petrochemicals. Mobina.
Okay, so even though pharma stocks may have declined, still that sector reigned supreme when it comes to the number of billionaires. Thanks a lot, Karanya, for that. Well, let's delve into some more nitty-gritties then of the Hurun India Rich List and bring on board Anas, who is the MD and the Chief Researcher of Hurun India. Anas, thank you for joining us on the Money Show. And it's the 8th edition, Anas, that you have released of the Hurun India Report. So tell us, we are staring at a slowdown, we are staring at the markets falling, but have India's rich become richer this year?
It's been a fantastic year from an Indian wealth creation story perspective. Just to give you some backdrop about how this has been evolving. When in 2014, when the new government took over, the number of billionaires in the list rose from about 69 to about 109. So there is a lot of optimism and hope in terms of the stability of the government, and it's been from there we've only been growing in terms of the total number of individuals in the list to the total number of billionaires as well. But I would say that the slowdown did have an impact on the wealth creation temporarily, I would say. It's primarily the wealth creation is a snapshot of how the businesses have been performing. So we go to the markets, look at the market, and the stock markets. Now that's how we look at the listed companies. But when it comes to private businesses, of course, the very fact that the market is not performing will have an impact on the valuation multiples. So there has been an impact on the overall valuation. So the average wealth, if I were to say in the top 100, would have gone down by about 2,000 crores.
So Anas, what has been the key source of wealth creation for some of your names in the rich list?
The pharmaceutical has been traditionally been producing the most number of wealth creators in India. That continues to be the number one sector. Then followed by, if I were to just read out, pharma is the number one sector. Then followed by, software and services, FMCG, chemicals and petrochemicals, all those traditional sectors. But one interesting point that I want to bring to your notice, and which could be very interesting, is the very fact that the new wealth creators are creating amazingly valuable businesses. If you look at the top 5 fastest risers in the IIFL Wealth Hurun India Rich List 2019, the top 5 fastest risers are all from new economies, either from Udaan or Byjus or Oyo and so on. So we can definitely see a trend in terms of the new tech wealth creators coming into foreplay. But the traditional sectors like pharma and so on does hold the fort in terms of adding more number of entrepreneurs to the list, and also the total wealth contributed to the list.
Anas, we often say that a lot of the billionaires, of course, are inherited. But how many billionaires in this list are self-made?
Around 53% are inherited, and around 47% are self-made. So which would mean that about from 951, you could say about 450 would be self-made. And out of the inherited 53%, again another 70% of the total from the inherited would be very active in growing the business. So that is also equally important. Just because some great businesses were inherited at X valuation, but after inheritance it's gone up to possibly 100x. So I would say self-made and active entrepreneurs put together should be at least 70 to 80% of the list.
Alright, like I said, Anas, pardon me, it's been 8 editions. This is your 8th edition. So what have you witnessed in terms of women billionaires? I mean, from the first edition till now, have you seen women make big strides?
The total number of women when we started the list in the very first year was about 6. Now it has gone up to almost around 152. So if you can look at the change, right, it's been exponentially high, from 6 to 152 over the last 8 years.
There is a trend, especially in the super rich, where we do see migration. Essentially, individuals wanting to adopt a foreign identity or a foreign passport for whatever reason. Do you think it's happened increasingly in the last couple of years, and which is the most favored destination?
Out of the 953 people in the list, about 857 are still residing in India. So of course, India is definitely the most favorite destination for Indian entrepreneurs, so to speak. But I have put stats here. Let me take it out. The US is the most preferred source for preferred destination for migration, followed by the UAE and UK. So I think that's been traditionally, it's a very common knowledge that some of the amazing entrepreneurs in India migrated to the US and set up their business and built very valuable businesses, then followed by a lot of NRIs who settled in the UAE and who's again built a great business. And then the third most preferred country for migration is the UK.
Okay, so Anas, we do know that the Ambanis are the richest in India. But which family or individual has seen the most amount of addition to his or her or their wealth in the last 1 year?
There are quite a few families, and I wouldn't want to specifically pinpoint, but if you look at the top 10, the fastest riser to the top 10 is Gautam Adani, and he's gone to the top 5, and basically he's demerged the business, and that's kind of unlocked the value of his other businesses as well. So I think I would one state jacket name that comes to my mind is Gautam Adani.
Okay, Gautam Adani it is, but of course it's not been all hunky-dory for India Inc. We have seen the IL&FS crisis, NBFC's wealth as well has been eroded. So, Anas, which family or which industry has seen the biggest wealth erosion in the last 1 to 2 odd years?
Some of the notable omissions from the list is reflective of some of the exits in the list. For example, Jet Airways entrepreneurs no longer in the list. Then DHFL entrepreneurs are no longer in the list. So there are certain omissions from the list.
Alright, on that note, Anas, thank you then for joining us with those very interesting insights of the IIFL Wealth Hurun India Report of the Rich List. Like we said, Mukesh Ambani has topped the list, and once again it's the pharma industry where there are the maximum number of billionaires. Okay, we'll take a very quick break right here on the show, but when we return we are going to have our Spend with TMS segment, and this time around our topic is how you can gear up for the upcoming Diwali holidays. We will be taking you through the